Level by Level Gaming, and this is going to be a video on my handheld gaming in 2023, what my plans are, what I foresee me doing with handheld gaming in this year. And as you can see, I've been handheld gaming pretty much my whole life. I've been gaming since the original Game Boy and the Game Gear. And boy, were there some battery shortages around the house during those days. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's the reason why I ended up with these huge battery packs for my Game Gear, because these things would suck up, this especially, would suck up the batteries. Been gaming a long time, been handheld gaming a long time, and I've got plenty of originals to keep myself entertained. You know, I can play the originals of these. I've got a PSP somewhere. I've got all kinds of handhelds laying around. But if I want to play an original game, I have the ability to do so. No shortage of entertainment. And the job that I picked and have been spending the majority of my adult life doing has seen me sitting around and doing a lot of hurry up and wait in a vehicle. So that's part of the reason why my handheld gaming has continued from when I was a child all through the years to take me through to modern stuff. So playing Link's Adventure on the original there, yeah, and playing Link's Awakening. Did I say Link's Adventure? Link's Awakening on something real modern here, the Switch. Now, I got the Switch. It hadn't been out very long when I got the Switch, and really do love this thing. So, you know, I've got a modern console that's a handheld that I can enjoy, along with all my original classics here. Now, Christmas one year, let me cut off this Game Boy here, so my poor old Game Boy's missing the back. Let me cut this thing off. No lack of entertainment, even if I'm just sitting waiting for my next job to come along, and other than playing on my cell phone, I've got plenty to do. But Christmas one year, many years ago, my wife got me my first cheap Chinese handheld, and I absolutely fell in love with it. This is a PAP K3 Plus. You can go back and look through the videos. I have a huge catalog on this. When I got this, not only was I entertained with the games like here, I was playing some Street Fighter Alpha 2 and enjoying some old arcade goodness there. When I got this thing, I was thoroughly entertained, not with just the fact that I could play these games and the fact that it was in this neat little form factor here, almost like a PSP. I became thoroughly entertained with modding this thing. I mean, going through, you could just dig into this thing, and if you're not afraid of getting your hands dirty and opening it up and getting in there and doing some rewriting of menus and codes and really digging into the communities of modders out there for these type of handheld emulators. I mean, you know, you could do a whole lot with this thing. And these things are still around like 50, 60 bucks, maybe 80 bucks. I haven't looked on Amazon in a long time. AliExpress, sometimes you can get them like next to nothing, 30 bucks. But that opened up a world of Chinese handhelds. And I've always felt like every year or a couple years, I was chasing, okay, this one would handle all my stuff up to like 16-bit. I did get a couple PS1 titles to work with this thing. Very, very hard to do so. I did, but it drops the ball at Nintendo 64. Then something comes along and there's all kinds of videos and reviews, and it pops up and says, hey, this can do Nintendo 64. This can do Dreamcast. This can do this and do that. And something like this comes along, and man, did I love the aesthetic. I mean, look how spot on they got with that thing. My childhood and my adulthood. And something else that I started noticing is the build quality would just get so much better with time. This is still a great machine. I love these things, very fond of it. It does still have that kind of cheap Chinese handheld feel to it. This thing come along and the aesthetics were great. The build quality was great. I mean, everything was just really, really good with it. And I enjoyed the fact that it was Android based. And I could play a whole nother set of games on here. And it opened up way more capability with this than that. This would do Nintendo 64 and all the PlayStation 1 that I could throw at it. But something I realized is I was kind of chasing systems with these kind of things. 60 bucks. I think this was 80 or 90 bucks when it came out. Now they're up in $100, $200 and more, you know, depending on what kind of specs you want to get out of these things. And I felt like every year, if I wanted to bump up that threshold of what I was able to play with this type of emulation, I would have to continue to every year spend another couple $100 just to open up what I wanted to. Now, something I did kind of stopgap with is, you know, I got one of these controllers, Android type controllers, and started experimenting with emulation on my phone. And this is just an old phone that I had laying around that wasn't even doing anything more. And I wanted to emulate some PlayStation and some PSP and stuff like that. So this was already money that I already spent. It was just laying around. This phone got phased out. My provider, my carrier, said that phone is a no-go on the plan and made me get another one. But it still had a pretty decent processor, had, you know, plenty of RAM and internal storage. So buying one of these little sliding controllers was the way to go. And so, but once again, I'm spending another 60 bucks or however much I spent on these. I'm just guessing. But it did open up a whole nother world, because this thing, this old phone, was more powerful than this. This is just looks really cool and feels a whole lot better in my hand than these things. But I was still happy with this. I even played all the way through, what was it, Half-Life. The original Half-Life PC on this thing right here. All the way through, played the game. And it had its ups and downs, but I still was able to do it. So you always have options like that. You're still kind of caught up chasing though. One of my friends got on the pre-order for this guy right here, and he had his already on the way when it was early access, and you could pay to get these before they were open to the public, to the masses. And when it came, I was super impressed and thought, man, now that's a handheld. And the only thing that scared me about it was the price. So, you know, I drooled over his, thought, man, that thing is really where it's at, and started looking. And this thing has been video reviewed to death. And this is the Steam Deck. And so many people have already covered this thing. There was a ton of videos already out on this thing when I decided to make this purchase. And it really made me think, if I get this, it's going to be quite a bit more money. I get this guy, I won't have to chase my consoles anymore. I won't have to chase what comes out every year in this type of market that will do not only all my original stuff that I've ever had. I think these things go all the way up to PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Every year emulation gets better and better. But also I have access to my Steam library, and I can sit here, I can play the Metro series, I can play, it's got a touchscreen, and some of these things don't. A lot of them are phone based now, so yeah, they do have touchscreens. But I mean, I can play Half-Life 2 on this. And what I found out ended up happening is I've been so entertained with my backlog of Steam games that I haven't even emulated in this thing. And the way I see it, 2023, moving for the foreseeable future, I cannot emulate myself out of this device. It will cover my entire childhood, every game I've ever owned, all my classics I can emulate all the way through to modern consoles, and a huge library of classic PC games, modern PC games. I just couldn't see anything but positive about owning this. So that's why level by level gaming, handheld gaming choice for 2023 and beyond is the Steam Deck. So if you want to know more about the Steam Deck, there's so much information out there, guys. Just go check out some of these really awesome YouTubers that are putting out in-depth, detailed videos on this thing. And I will continue to do my retro gaming and now some PC gaming. Thank you guys for watching. It's Level by Level Gaming. I'm out.